Hello and welcome back, arcade and electronics enthusiasts. We have here on the bench yet another missile command board set. Just got this one out of the box. Started taking a look at it. I got my harness adapter ready to go. Crystal. This looks like an old socket, Atari socket, that will be replaced. This is not an old socket. What kind of socket is that? Curious what kind of socket this is. Can't do it. Alright, it is a dual wipe socket. That's good. Yeah. Looks like this chip has been replaced. New socket here, some resoldering action on the RAMs. Looks like these sockets have been replaced. So there's prior work. Yeah, these have all been socketed, and it looks like they got 4164 RAMs in. Yeah. Okay. I don't see any obvious damage. It looks like these have all been replaced. That's nice. Very nice. Okay. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my continuity meter and I'm going to beep out all of this and make sure that there's no broken traces between the address line and the address lines, basically. Make sure that is not broken. No breaks, no shorts, that kind of thing. And here, this is prior work as well. So I want to beep all of this stuff out. Yeah, I'll pull all the chips out, actually. You start beeping stuff out. That's the first thing I'm going to do, is beep stuff out. Okay. I went ahead. I replaced this socket. I beeped out all of this. And I beeped out the address and the data lines on this. That was all I did. Everything is A-OK, seems. So, I've got it hooked up. I got the harness plugged in. And we're going to go ahead and fire this up and see what we get. And here we go. Same as the last missile command. Dead. So, the same process I'm going to do with this board that I did with the last missile command. I'm going to start with my logic probe. I'm going to probe around on the buffers. This one, these two, I remember from the last repair, these are the address buffers. This is the data buffer for these 4 chips. This is the data buffer for these 2 guys. The RAM's data buffer is right here. And then remember this is our option switches up here at address 4A00. Let's try test. Oh, that's good. Huh. Alright, let me go ahead and turn it off. That's annoying. I'm going to go ahead and get my logic probe out and ready to go and hooked up. And we'll see what it tells us. Okay, we're gonna go right there with this. Get the probe. I got my probe ready. And we'll go ahead and switch this on. Okay. And just start probing around. Let's check reset. And we are resetting. Now let's check our address buffers. Which since this thing is going, it's doing its or whatever, you know, it's trying to do the whatchamacallit, the test. It's probably, addressing's probably okay, but I'm gonna check anyway. It doesn't take long to check. Okay, just go down and check inputs first. Okay. Now we'll check the outputs. And you're just looking for flashing. Okay. And let's check this guy. This is the other address buffer. Check the inputs. And outputs. Okay, those look fine. Now let's check the data buffers. This is the main data buffer out to the system. So let's look at that guy. It's always enabled. Inputs. And outputs. Alright, now we'll check the 3 data buffers, the program data buffers and the RAM data buffer. First we'll do this one. Being enabled, inputs, and outs. Okay. And we'll do this one up here. We might just have bad ROMs, and we'll figure that out. Okay. Okay. Good. I don't think I looked at the inputs. Okay, and one more time on the outputs. I don't know what I did. Okay, yeah. Alright, let's see if this guy is toggling up here. Once again, this is not toggling up here. This the same as that last one, the last missile command board that I worked on. If you remember, if you remember, if I can get this situated, remember this chip was not being enabled, this guy right here, and once again this is not being enabled. Turn it off, get rid of that noise. Oh, come on. Okay. Yeah, this is not being enabled. So if we remember, the last repair that I did was C3PO, and it was 4 and 5 out to 6, if I remember correctly. That time it's working this time. Yeah. All right, and then I remember there was a 139. I think. This guy. I think it might have been this guy. Let's back this up. That can also be bad ROMs. It can also be a bad ROM. That is, because it's I don't know if it's software. It's a 139. It is soft. It's software generated, I believe. This is. Here's this 139. Okay. That is not being enabled, which I don't know if it's supposed to be. All right. All right. I'm kind of suspecting a bad ROM because I remember from checking that circuit, it was this 32. Then there was another 32 too. This one right here was also involved. Pin 1 and 2 out to 3. Yeah. 1 and 2 out to 3. And yeah, I might have to get the schematic out. Yeah, I need to get the schematic out. And what is going on here? Yeah, I seriously think this is software. So I want to get the fluke out and do ROM checks on these guys. So let's do that. Okie dokie, we are all set up. Ready to go. Let me grab here we go. I'm like, where did my papers go that I just had? Alright, I'm going to do RAM check first. First I'll do 0 to 1FF. Yep. And then we'll do, I believe it's okay, and that's good. No problem there. So now we'll move on to our ROMs. And I think it's going to be this set again. So ROM at 5000. F25A. See how that goes. Alright, let's repeat 2877. Alright, let's move on. That's just a bad signature. And 39. 77. A16F. Okay. D.O.A. Starting to see something common here. Yeah, okay. Let's do, I'm going to skip up to 7000. That one is B25D. Okay. Now let's go to ROM test 78 to 7FF F B 888. Okay. So, what it turns out, if we take the camera and come over here, the fluke told us that these are all good. You know what I want to do? I want to loop a read at 4A00. I'll get back to that thought. Yep, that's correct. Let's do a loop. And I'm just going to rock these around a little bit, and you'll watch the fluke. See that? So the decoding is working. Okay? So let's stop. What the fluke is telling us is we can read up here. We can read here. We can write here. We can read these guys through this. We cannot accurately read this bank through this. Now, what I can do is I can take each of these, or just take one of them, put it in this spot, and then run a ROM check on it and see if it's the actual signature it's supposed to be. I can verify that the ROMs are actually good by doing that. But we have either the decoding to this bank is bad, or this is bad. That's really the only two things. That's the only thing as it can be. Is the decoding is bad to this bank, or that. But what I want to do first is I want to eliminate, are these good ROMs or not. I'm going to pop this guy out of here, and then I'll do this one, this spot right here, 78. And I'll just run checks on all of these ROMs in this spot. So okay. So I'll go ahead and grab this guy. Just pop that out. Let's pop this guy out of here. Oops. Oh, that's not good. That's okay. Okay, put that guy in there, and that is this guy, but we're doing it at 78. So ROM at 78. And that should be, what, F25A? Okay, that's not a bad ROM. So we'll go ahead and pop that guy out of there, pop it back in the spot. And then we'll take this guy, put it in the spot, and just do a repeat. And it's going to beep incorrect, and then I'm just going to hit more and make sure that the correct signature is on there. It should be 3977. So if I hit more, it says that it is 3977. So that ROM is good. And we'll take this guy, and repeat. And that should be E850. F730A. That is not good. Did it bend a leg? No. Repeat. No, this one's giving me random stuff. This ROM is no good. Let's try 823. And repeat. EF62. That one's good. Okay. And that one's good. So we got one that's not good. Yeah. I forget what this signature was telling us. Something 2988 or something like that. I don't know. 2877, I was way off. So, okay. Put this ROM back in here. and that was 78. And B. So along with having a bad ROM, we have no decoding to these. Yeah. So this guy is just no good. So we'll have to put a different ROM in there. And I have some actual Missile Command ROMs that I can find. Let me go ahead and find that stash of Missile Command ROMs that I have. Alright, I reached into my stash of chips, and I have an actual Missile Command ROM here. Yep, 035. There. Now let's do a check on this guy and see if it's proper. That is the third one, 6,000. And oh, it's not going to work. Duh. Let's do it here at 7,000. Hey, it's a good chip. One more time for good measure. Repeat. Sweet. Okay, we have good ROMs now. Now we just have a problem with our decoding. So for S's and G's, I want to grab a 244. And I want to see if this has any results. Oh boy. I need a different chip. I don't have any. Oh, well, I guess I'm just going to have to do this. I want to do a read. Let me back this camera up. I just want to loop a read at, say, 5,000. So let me do that. Read at 5,000. Loop. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump this 244 over this chip and see if this changes at all on the fluke. I don't see it changing, do you? Oh yeah, yeah, look at that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. 29, E9, A9. It definitely changes when I jump something over this driver. 2. The 2-bit is a 1, and then the 8-bit goes to 1 every now and again. The lower 4 bits is pretty solid. The lower 4 bits never really messes around. It's the upper 4 bits that seem to like to mess around. But that could mean nothing at all. So what I want to do is I'm going to have to look at that chip. So we'll get the little scope out and we'll just go down that chip and compare the input to the outputs. Okie doke, we're getting set up. Chip clip. And put probe number 1 on the enable. And then this will be the input. This will be the output. Turn the scope on, little scope. My trusty little scope. I'm going to go ahead and turn the game on. Sorry, nudging the camera a little bit there. Did you feel like Jesus? Did you realize? Huh. Oh. Get along. Well, look at that enable line. Is that my connection? What's going on here? No. Yeah, that don't look good at all. I want to just do a straight probe of that. Yeah, that's no good. That's the enable line. That, as opposed to the enable line on this, still kind of looks like crap. Well, they're probably off of the same chip. Is this my probe? Is my probe funky? What's going on here? What's going on up in here? Yeah, my probe's funky. What's going on? Oh, darn it. Gotta change the source. Yeah, okay. I don't know what was going on. That's my probe. My probe was funky. That's better. All right. Okie doke. So while this thing is enabled, these two need to match. It's enabled. It looks good to me. Continue. That looks pretty good. Continue. That looks pretty good. Next. Okay. Looks good to me. Next. Okay. Looking good. Yeah, this looks fine. I don't see any problem with this so far. Is it channel 2? No, it doesn't look bad. It's not really doing much. Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with this. let me get the schematic. I just want to double check that I'm looking at the right chip. Okay. BC1. Yes. All right. Since this is looking good, I'm going to just kind of go over the schematic and start looking at the decoding. Okay, so here are some ways that we can go. We know we can get to these guys. These ROMs we can get to. That's these two. These two. And it's actually these four. This one, this one, this one, and this one. You'll see these guys right here. Go through that and up. And then we have this bank right here is right here. That's this bank that we can't read. And we have all of these ROM signals, ROM 0 through 11, that are made up here. So we could have, M5 could have an issue. This could have an issue. 8 through 11 is fine because we can read these. So I'm kind of thinking this is not going to be my problem. This can just be a quick probe over and see if it looks fine and then move on. Both of these. This thing could be an issue because if you remember, I wasn't getting anything on the input out on that thing, on this guy right here. So let's move this stuff out of the way. Let me move this out of the way. Let me grab this probe. Is this thing pulsing at all yet? No, it's not. So that was M5, which is this guy. And I thought I looked at that. I mean, that seems to be fine. I don't see anything to suggest that that's not working. So let's move to these gates right here. Let's look at these guys. It's a 08 at J6 R2. Is that J6 and R2? Is that what that is? C2 and R2. So R2 is probably fine. Let's probe J2 and R2. Right here is J2. Is that a 08? J2 is a 157, so it's not J2. J6. J6 and R2. J6 and R2. R2 is right here. Let's look at R2. Okay, J6 is right here. That seems fine. Those seem fine. What about... Those are the chip selects. Yeah. That is the chip select. Okay. Okie dokie. Well, I think what do these programs select? Oh. Program select. The 42 at the decoder at N2. Decoder at N2. This guy right here. 0 through 7. This thing's fine. That's fine. Okay. I'm still suspecting this guy. I think I'm going to get the logic analyzer out and actually analyze this. I'm still kind of suspecting this. I'll go back through with the little scope once again. I beeped all of this out and it was fine. They are all bad. We can't read any of them. So this is the common part right here. I mean, it could be the what's activating this. Wait, what is activating that? Duh. Let's look at that. How about that? Two parts here. C5, pin 11, and then B6, pin 4. C5, pin 11. It's a not and. We got pulses here, and we have high all the time. The only time we'll get a 0 is, so this should be pulsing, and it is. Okay. And then B6, 3 out to 4? Or 4 out to 5? It doesn't matter. They're both doing their thing. Yeah. They're both doing what they're doing. Alright, so I am suspecting it's got to be this. It's either this or just it's going to be hunting down a flaky signal. But I want to absolutely eliminate this chip first and foremost, because I'm going to go back over with this guy and look at it one more time, but it looks fine. And if it looks fine again, I think I'm going to move on to something else, because that's kind of wasting time at that point, actually. So, yeah. Okay, I'll be back. dead. Alright, I am really suspicious of this guy right here. That's not where the watchdog comes from. That is not what I'm suspicious of. Alright, I have to find out where the watchdog signal's coming from. I thought it was... Oh yeah, it is this guy. Yes. Right there on pin 5. Yeah. You'll see this thing right here, all it's doing is activating 0. Pin 12 is pulsing, which is the highest bit, and the other 3 bits are active, which means it's moving around from 0 to 7. Now, is this thing only enabling when it's on 0? It's definitely possible, but it's improbable. But I still don't understand what that... No, that's not going to make it to where you can't read those ROMs, though. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some analyzing on these 139s. And I'm still suspicious of this guy. But, yeah, I don't think that would make it to where you can't read these ROMs. So, yeah. Alright, I think first things first. I think the first thing I need to do is inspect these 139s that are the ROM selectors. I've already looked at these simple gates. They're fine. Make sure that is good, and then move on. Just verify that, get that out of the way, get this decoding part out of the way, and then move on to the next thing. Systematic. Remember how I wondered if the most significant bit on this LS42 was only going low when the 3 inputs were 0, and that was the reason why the 0 output was going low and nothing else? Yeah. We got the most significant bit to the least. And you can see when it does go low, it is 0. 0, 0, 0. Every time. It's never different. Yeah, it's just a loop. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't matter. Yeah, right there. So that thing looks to be working just fine so far. Don't have to worry about that. I'm going back now to the 139s. This one here. This one here. I think that's the only two. M5, P2. P2. There's another one there at P2. Is that? No, that's the one I just said. This one right here, P2. That one and this one. I need to analyze both of those guys. So I will do that. I think I can put the little scope up. This is good for doing anything up to 4 channels. So, yeah. Now it's time to break that guy out. I need that for these 139s. So, all right. All right, I started probing around on looking at the signals on the data bits themselves. And if we start with data bit 0, data bit 0 is bad. It's neither high nor low. It's not doing anything. And here is data bit 1, same thing. Here's data bit 2, same thing. Here is 3, it is doing something. 4, 5, 6, and data bit 7. So what I want to do is grab the tripod, and this buffer's bad, is what I found. Even though I went through and looked at this, even though the output was matching the input and stuff like that, it's still, I think it's just coincidence. This thing's no good, and I'll show you how, show you why. Okay, first thing I want to do is remember data bits 0, 1, and 2 were all bad. Let's start with data bit 0 and find out where that is over here. Okay. It's pin 17. Pin 17. On the buffer it's pin 17. So if we turn this on and then come up to the scope, let me go close the door. It's a big glare. All right, now we're going to look at pin 17 on the buffer, and that's what pin 17 looks like. Now let me turn off the game, and I'm going to take and just clip with these guys. I'm going to clip pin 17. Okay. Now I'm going to turn it back on. And I will now probe data bit 0. Get on it. See that? Now it's doing something. Yeah, that buffer's no good. So I'm going to replace that buffer, and that'll probably fix this thing. Okay, nice new buffer in there. So we'll go ahead and fire this thing up. Oh yeah, I have to adjust the horizontal frequencies. I just had Targ on here, so let me do that. Okay, I went ahead and adjusted the monitor, and it is doing a reset thing. So it's almost working. It's better. Let's put it into test. Okay, that doesn't really help us out at all. ROM okay, RAM okay. Okay. Out of test. And the missile command flips upside down before it resets. So this could have it could be a switch issue. I'm going to have to go through all of the decoding again and make sure that the switches are being accessed properly and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to get the scope back out and just start probing around. Alright, that's interesting how it says bonus city every 1515151500 points. That seems like a ROM issue to me. So I'm not convinced that we don't have bad ROMs in this thing. So I'm going to investigate that. Alright, I got the fluke back out, doing ROM checks. They are all good, except for this one. That is this guy right here, 6000. So ROM 6000 to 67FF. And it is E850. Garbage. Random nonsense. I'm going to loop that and just kind of look at my signals. 13, 14, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That is the enable. Which is fine. And data bits. That one is floating. Yeah, there it goes. It's doing something. It's just random. Well, that one don't look good. See that? Yeah. Who knows? Bottom line is this ROM's no good. So I'm going to burn a new ROM for that. No more messing around with these old ones. Okay, got a new ROM in the board. So let's go ahead and fire this thing up and see what it does. Oh, I gotta plug it in. Okay. And here we go. Alright. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look any better. Same thing. So, okay. So, let's turn it off. It's not the ROM, it's the decoding to the ROM. So, it's something to do with the decoding getting to the ROM. So, well, let's get the schematic out and find out what is the 139. It's either this one. I think it's this 139. Find out exactly what is triggering this, and we're going to have to analyze one of these 139s. Well, I put that ROM back in it, and I just decided to go ahead and jump a 139 over this 139. That is the problem. It's that 139's no good. So, I will go ahead and replace this guy. See? Is it going to keep running? What's it going to do? Yep, there it goes. Alright, let's replace this guy right there, 139. Okay, I got the new 139 in the board. I have hooked up the trackball. So we will, let me hook this up too, because I've got to be able to trigger the coin inputs and all that. So we'll hook this to ground here. Okay, there. Very good. Now we are ready. And on. I'm going to put it into test. Oh, I got to plug it in. Okay. And now, straight to test. Okay. That looks better. Bonus city every 1,000 points, 10,000 points. And out of test. Okay, that does look good. And back into test. Okay, let's move the trackball. And left, right, up, down, works good. Okay, now for switch test. Good. Okay. Good. Good. And good. 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 That's it. All of the switches work. Sound works good. I'll go ahead and start a game really quick. Play a little game. Alright, there's no lights off today because it's just a beautiful day outside and I got the doors open. So, this is how it is. Alright, and we'll coin up. Okay, hold up, hold up, hold up. It looked like one of the inputs. I missed one of the inputs and it looked like it's not working. Coin center was not registering a coin. Well, it's working. Alright, never mind. False alarm. Alright, where were we? Okay. And start one. It's hard to play like this. And that will do it for another Classic Arcade Repair. Thanks for watching, everybody, and see you next time. Bye for now. Alright, well, every now and again this will happen. After about an hour of runtime, we have this. So something has done gone flaky. So, what is this? Something to do with the video, obviously. Motion objects. And if I put it in test, it says everything's A-OK. Everything is A-OK. Nothing to see here. No problem. But obviously, yeah. All right, well, I think I'll just start. I need to think about where I want to start looking and then start looking. Okay, so I got the fluke back out and I went over doing ROM checks again, doing RAM checks again. I exercised the RAM and really good with long tests and stuff, and everything's fine on a ROM and RAM basis, but this guy again, remember this is the same switch that I had problems with on my previous repair, my previous missile command repair. I am once again looping a read at 4A00, and if I close these or open them, whatever, that should be 00, right? And it's not. It is for a second, and then it's just going crazy. That's not good. Now if I take this and jump over this carefully, try to anyway. These ceramic packaged chips don't jump over chips very well. At all. Okay. Get it just right. There we go. See that? Yeah. Anyway, I don't like that. It's not, that shouldn't be like that. So I believe this guy's bad. On second thought, this may not be this chip. This could be something corrupting the bus. This could be, very well could be another buffer driver being enabled when it's not supposed to be. Interesting. Let's loop a read at RAM 1000. Just loop it. Let's write 1000. Let's write 66, and then let's loop the read at 1000. Okay, and that is solid. That stays there. So nothing is interfering with that. Very strange. I mean, I suppose it could just be this buffer driver. It could be. I don't know. Don't know right now. I'm going to have to do a little probing around and investigating to find out exactly what's going on here. All that about that 244, I don't know, it just kind of, even though it's weird, and this is 8 bits. I found out what the problem is on this board. I'm trying to figure out how it correlates to these not going all the way low up here when this is trying to read zeros. Remember that? That was weird. That really shouldn't be that way. And I might revisit this again. I might replace this anyway. That's something that I'm thinking about. That was weird. I don't know. But the problem with this board is RAM, but it's not RAM. It is, but it isn't. I know that sounds not good. See these signals right here? WP. What are those? What are WP? What does that stand for? Write enable pulses. That's what they are. Write enable pulses. And that makes sense because this totally looks like a video RAM error, doesn't it? Okay. Those write pulses enable the RAMs for writing into the RAMs. This ROM right here is an 8-bit bipolar ROM. That's an 82S123. And it is basically the write enable pulse ROM. Now if I cool that chip down simply by putting my finger on it, like this, watch. Watch the next screen. See that? And this thing has a hot spot for sure. As my finger is starting to get pretty hot. And I would imagine that pretty soon it's going to start flaking out again because it's just going to be too hot to where I can't keep my finger on it anymore. But my finger is absorbing that heat out of that chip. I'm going to try to keep my finger on there a little bit longer till maybe the next screen. It's pretty hot. It's pretty hot right now. And these chips get hot, but they don't get, it shouldn't be this hot. Here we go. I'm going to take my finger off of that thing now. Yeah, this guy right there. See how long it takes before it overheats and starts flaking out. There it goes. Alrighty, yeah, so I'm going to have to remove that chip and program a new one, and that will fix that. I'm still curious about that up there. Okay, I have the new bipolar ROM, a nice ceramic bipolar ROM in the board, and I'm revisiting this with the Fluke, reading on this guy, and check it out. It's just interference with my Fluke is all it is. And with this particular board, this shielding on this cable, look at this. See that? Going crazy. If I ground the cable shielding, if I ground it, it does the opposite of what it should do, which is weird, right? Because if I if I rock these, it just is always FF. But if I pull this to 5 volts, so now I'm attaching 5 volts to the shield, it works right. This is odd. And if I rock these things now, like I can do, let's do 5 and, I don't know, 8. 85. Oops, I'm sorry. 85. Now let's make this 95. There we go. And let's clear it back to zeros. Yeah, so it's just a thing with the Fluke. This likes to be held. You put 5 volts on the shielding, which is strange. I don't know, and it works. And it does not like to run this game, though. That's for sure. So I'll go ahead and put the Fluke up, and we'll check it out. Alright, I'm doing this testing again. So I've got it in test, and trackball still works. And buttons. Good. 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 Coins. Uh-oh. Alright, what's going on here? Huh, this isn't good. This doesn't seem to be working. looks like one of these is taking a crap. 244s for the inputs. Well, I have to look into that. After some investigation, I have found out that this thing is broke. There's no continuity on this thing. I don't know what happened, but it broke apparently. So let's try grabbing a different one. See if this one is not broke. Ground it there. Yeah, there we go. Coins. Yeah. All right, that's good. That's all controls working. We're back to where we were when I ended the video. And the amount of time that this thing has been sitting here running and test while I was testing on it and stuff, it would have been goofy already. So yeah, that is totally... That was this guy right here. Oh no, this is a 191. I was messing around right here with these. These are 191s on the inputs. So it's this guy. This is the bad bipolar ROM right there. So there you have it. Alright, now we're going to reset the timer and let this thing go for another 3 hours. About 2 hours maybe. Alright. And this time I can hopefully say with confidence that we are all set with this one now. So barring another failure, we'll see you on the next Classic Arcade Repair. Bye for now.